I'm now convinced that you don't need green on your color palette. And as a nature artist, that's such a weird thing to say. And maybe the pro green painters are gonna have to stage an intervention. But hear me out first, because none of these colors were created with green oil paint. I'll explain the combinations in a moment. So up top, you see Rublev's cadmium yellow light, and then along the side, you see Michael Harding's cobalt teal, phthalo blue lake, and then ivory black. So in the middle column of this chart, I'm mixing essentially a 1-to-1 ratio of the cadmium yellow light with each of the colors along the side. On the left side, I'm mixing a little more cadmium yellow light in, and on the right side, I'm mixing a little more of each of the blues and the black in, respectively. So that's how to look at this chart. The combination of cadmium yellow light mixed with cobalt teal is an excellent substitute for bright green lake, while the combination of cadmium yellow light and phthalo blue is an excellent substitute for emerald green. In this next chart, I swapped cadmium yellow light for gold ochre, and I found that the combination of gold ochre and cobalt teal, as well as gold ochre and phthalo blue, mimics oxide of chromium, while the combination of gold ochre and a little more phthalo blue mimicked terre verte, just with more opacity. I definitely think that terre verte, along with green gold, has utility as a glaze, especially because of its transparency, so I wouldn't be so quick to take it off my palette, but it's kind of nice to know that you can create an opaque version. And now in this chart, I'm combining cadmium yellow light with gold ochre, along with cobalt teal, phthalo blue lake, and ivory black. And you can see down in the bottom right corner, I'm starting to approach an olive green color, or a color that mimics the Italian green umbers. In this chart, we've got cobalt teal combined with phthalo blue, blended with cadmium yellow light, gold ochre, and then the combination of cadmium yellow light and gold ochre. And down in the bottom right corner again, the combination of all four of these pigments creates a beautiful rich turquoise, not unlike cobalt green deep. And now I've combined cadmium yellow light with cadmium orange. And as I was adding more phthalo blue, the combination actually started to look kind of like phthalo green yellow shade. And here I've blended gold ochre with cadmium orange, and as you can see, many of the squares are more brown than green. However, they still have value. I think if you're painting metallics like gold or brass in a painting, many of these would be beautiful for adding shadows. And here I combined cadmium yellow light with a color called Ercolano red from Rublev. And Ercolano red is pigment PR102. It's a natural red iron oxide, a rich red-orange color that's mined in quarries in Italy. Anyways, you can see here that it's produced some really lovely muted green shades. And towards the bottom, where it's mixed with ivory black, you see more colors that would be superb for adding shadows to metallics. In this chart, I combined gold ochre with Ercolano red, and you can see, again, lots of brown combinations. The phthalo blue lake is more green, probably because it has insanely high tinting strength. And actually, the green at the very right side looks like permanent sap green. Now I went a little crazy. Up top, we've got cobalt teal with ivory black, and then many combinations going down the left side. One of the combinations I found most interesting was the cadmium yellow light plus cadmium orange combined with cobalt teal and ivory black. To me, it looks like phthalo green. In this chart, the same combinations are going down the left side, while up top is a blend of phthalo blue and ivory black. I found that you can actually mimic viridian pretty well with a combination of cadmium yellow light plus Ercolano red and phthalo blue and ivory black. If you liked any of these color charts, I created a PDF with all of them that you can download via the link in the description of this video. One last thing. I totally understand the ease and convenience of using one tube of paint that contains one pigment to get the color you want. But there's this concept in art called simultaneous contrast, which refers to an intensity that is created when you put complementary colors side by side. So, for example, when I make a green that contains a yellowy orange and a blue, the resulting green is going to have a certain vibrance that a single pigment green wouldn't have. The yellowy orange and blue aren't going to be perfectly blended, so there's going to be slivers of orange and slivers of blue in close proximity, which will make the green seem more alive. You might not be able to put your finger on how that intensity is created when you look at it, but the different colors that are blended together are the reason why. So this is one of the reasons why I'm interested in blending different colors together to make green, rather than just use green pigment all by itself. I hope this demo was helpful. Feel free to ask any questions below.